Namaste. Happy snow day if you're here in the Nashville area. And we're not only having snow that is shutting everything down, but it's actually a holiday. It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And I love looking at today as being a yogic holiday. I'm going to tell you something you probably did not learn in school or in the history books. So when MLK decided to start to lead this peaceful demonstration for the civil rights movement here in the United States, he actually gained his inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi, who led the peaceful protest against the British when they came into their nation and tried to start taxing salt. And it worked. They were able to free themselves eventually, even entirely from the British. So when MLK decided to do the civil rights movement, he took that as an example. And he was such a godly man, he didn't want to allow it to end in violence. So I want you to look to see how this relates, because Mahatma Gandhi used Ahimsa, the very first yogic principle. If you look at the 8-limb path of yoga, we have the yamas and the niyamas that started off. And the yamas is how to practice self-control. And that first one is non-harming, non-injury, non-violence, what we term ahimsa. In the affirmative, it's compassion in action. So obviously we talk about ahimsa a lot in our yoga practice, and I still want you to abide by that principle today. Now, this particular class is going to be inspired by Martin Luther King. I wanted to share a quote from him, and then we'll start to work into the body. You will need a bolster and 2 blocks today. Okay, here's the quote. I think I have discovered the highest good, and it is love. I have decided to stick with love, for hate is too great of a burden to bear. It is an overflowing love which seeks absolutely nothing in return. Theologians would say that it is the love of God operating in the human heart. And when one rises to love at this level, he is able to love the person who does the evil deed while still hating the deed that the person may do. So I love this quote because it's really about love conquering hate, love over fear. Because as we know, if you really look at the root cause of hate, anger, and negative emotions like that, is a nugget or grain of fear. So when we work into our practice today, let's allow the love to rule. Lenny Kravitz had a song, "We got to let love rule." And it's true. We need the love to override these things like unforgiveness and hate. So I want to tell you a couple places where hate can kind of build in the body. So obviously, with it being opposite of love that stems from the heart, it can affect the heart. It can affect the region that the heart center includes, which is chest, upper back, shoulders, arms. But hate can also land in the low back. So we're going to focus on some back bending today, and then obviously some other things as well. But let's go ahead and meet on the mat. And we're going to start in a restorative back bend, lying down on a bolster. So if you take this bolster to the back side of your mat, your legs can be extended out in front of you. You're just going to roll down upon it. Flip your hands open. Discover, is it better for the feet to be close together or apart? Close your eyes. Feeling the contour of your body on this pillow. The openness of the abdomen, the upliftment, chest. And then immediately begin to take command over your breath. Feeling the breath ripple up and down between those two regions. Expanding both the belly and the chest. And maintaining that sense of openness and spaciousness even as you breathe out. Use this time to replenish your lungs and to replenish yourself. I want you to think about a couple things. One, the pose that we're in now is even good for heartburn. And I've tested this on my son because sometimes he gets heartburn when he eats something that's tomato based, like if we have Italian food. And one night he got heartburn, and I put some pillows underneath his back, told him to breathe slowly and deeply, and it worked. So this can be medicinal for that. Trying to bring the prana up into the chest region. Each and every time you breathe up into the heart, consider how the heart is considered the place where we store an infinite amount of love. You may be a person that was lucky enough to stick with your first love. That's not the reality for most. And so a lot of people can testify to the fact that the human heart is capable of falling in love again and again and again. It's a powerful force. Your next in breath, let's go ahead and start to bend the knees. And then let's roll away to one side of the body. All right, there may be a point where you may have to sit up to see what I'm doing. But we're going to come back to our backs, and we're going to have the knees bent, so heels aligned underneath the knees. Your arms are going to be beside you, and we're going to start with pelvic tilts. So it's like the beginning of the cow and the beginning of the cat stretch, but we're only moving the pelvis. So in other words, as we inhale, we're going to start to roll the hips forward, like we're trying to move towards the tailbone, which arches the low back. And then as we exhale, we plug our feet into the floor, we elongate the tailbone and zip up through the midriff, so the low back flattens. And then inhale, roll the hips forward. And then exhale, draw the navel in and up towards the ribs. This is a simple exercise, but this can be very medicinal for the low back. And remember, the low back is an area where I said we tend to hold and store things like hate. And we don't want hate to be a part of our foundation. In fact, repeat mentally within, love is my foundation. My foundation is built on love. Let's do a couple more. Inhale to that miniature cow. Exhale to that miniature cat. All right. Now, send your arms straight up towards the ceiling, right above your body. We'll do a modified fish. So now plug your upper arms into the floor right beside you. Tuck the shoulders and scoop them under the body so that your sacrum is still touching down, but you're arching the rest of your back. Your shoulder blades are cinching in towards the spine. The cavity of the chest is jutting up towards the spine. This is a static hold. Keep pushing down with the arms. Keep lifting high through your chest. Freely breathe. And as you exhale, slide your shoulders apart. Bring your hands down beside you. We're going to do the bridge flow. So as you inhale, push down through the soles of the feet, circle the arms overhead, tuck the tailbone, lift your hips. And then as you exhale, bring the arms around and roll back down to the spine. All right, inhale, you're coming up. The exhale, you're rolling down. Continue with repetition. Three more. I want you to notice the next couple times that you come up to bridge, how with the arms overhead and the shoulders not tucked under the body, how even though the chest is lifting towards the chin, it's not as much of a back bend as we could potentially provide ourselves. And so that's where we're going to next. Okay, so this time, let your arms stay beside you. Push through the soles of the feet, tuck and lift. Now, hook each shoulder underneath the body. And notice you're distributing the back bend more than before. Push down to the mount of the big toes. Let your thighs roll in like you're squeezing a block between the legs. Affirming here, I've got to let the love flow. I've got to let the love flow. Now feel the work in your glutes here. As you exhale, roll it down one vertebra at a time. Catch your knees or the back of your thighs. Hug them in for a few moments. There's a nice counter. And so what we're going to do is we're going to lift back up into bridge, but then we're going to work our glutes. and send one leg forward and out, trying our hardest not to allow one hip to drag or droop down. All right, so we'll need a block for this one. And it's going to go in between the knees, flatten the feet, and your palms. All right, when you're ready, inhale, tuck and lift, squeeze that block, squeeze those glutes, and then send your left foot up and out. Point the foot. Keep your thighs parallel. Don't let that left hip drop. Breathe, breathe, breathe. You've got this. Exhale, release the left foot. Lower down. Keep the block between the knees and tuck the knees back in towards your chest. All right, round two. All right, push the feet down, squeeze the block. Palms resting beside you as you lift up. When you're ready, pick up the right foot. Again, try not to droop or drag the right hip. Breathe, breathe, breathe. I know this is hard. Exhale, lower the foot, lower the back, pick up your feet, hold that block. All right, now come up to bridge again, but this time the block goes under the sacrum. Sit on it. Few deep breaths. This is the cooling version of bridge. And so, you know, when you're boiling, boiling hot, you know, due to hatred or temperament, right? Kind of losing it. This is a pose that can calm you down. All right, we're going to pick up the left foot and we're going to stiff arm that knee. Now your hand is pushing into the leg and the knee is pushing into your palm. You're fighting it. You're creating your own resistance. Keep going, keep going, keep going. We're building tension. Tense. Breathe. Now extend your left leg. Rest on the heel. And receive the stretch now. It's actually a great way to release the psoas when it gets peached up and it gets bundled up. It can happen when you're driving. If you prop your left foot on the car seat, I made the mistake of doing that for a long period of time coming back on a road trip from Buffalo. My hip was so unhappy. But this is one of the techniques I use to work with it. All right, let's step the left foot back. Pick up your right, stiff arm that knee. Create your resistance. Hand pushing the knee, knee pushing into the palm. Keep going, going, keep fighting it, keep resisting it. Create the tension, tense with will. Keep tensing with will. Good, now extend the right leg. And relax and feel. Now straighten out both legs this time. A little cross comparison. Where do you need a little bit more of this release? So after doing that cross comparison, of course, you can continue to work longer on the side that needs it more. For now, we're going to keep it kind of evenly distributed. All right, let's walk the feet back. Let's tuck and lift away from the block. Let's roll back down. Cup a hold of the knees. Apanasana. Fan out your arms on your inhale. Allow the knees to roll left on the exhale. Determine if you want your head to be the same, or if you want to turn to look over one or the other shoulder. I would suggest, practicing at home in the wintertime, if you're having a day like today where it's really frigid outside, or if you're close to windows or doors where that cold air comes in, have a space heater on or fully clothed. You can see I'm even wearing a turtleneck today just to stay warm in here. Also have a space heater on. It's not that you need the room to be hot, but you don't want to be trembling or chilled to the bone either. Let's draw the knees through center and then exhale, roll the knees right. Being cold can make the body feel more stiff. Also be aware of that. Exhale. Let's bring that left arm over, push down into that palm. We're going to come all the way up to stand now. So come to stand at the top of the mat. And I want you to just roll back and forth between your heels and your toes. And then find where you're evenly distributing your weight. Hands joined together to prayer. Chin parallel to the floor. Inhale, let your arms circle wide and up. And notice how when we lift the arms up, it feels like everything's moving up, unless we really push down through the soles of the feet. So you want both. Get your landing line set, and that will lift through your arms and fingertips. Now, if you want to go to upward worship, you're welcome to lean your head back and bring your palms together. Affirm. We've got to let love rule. And exhale, fold. Over straight legs, you're in Uttanasana. Tip your weight slightly forward toward your toes. Make sure your knees are not bending. Inhale, prop your hands on your shins. Push into your legs so that you're straightening your arms and lengthening through the spine. And now bend your knees and lift the arms up so you're coming into Utkatasana, chair. And then as you exhale, you're going to keep your knees bent, just not as deep. And you're going to fold over to dangling pose. The knees have a soft bend. You're rising up through your seat, bowing your head. You're also welcome to cross the arms. Be at liberty to extend out your exhalations. Think about how inclusive love is compared to hate. And as you're folding in, being introspective, maybe try to love on the areas or love on the pieces of yourself that you don't like or hate. You can even affirm aham, prima, I am pure love. And if you want to grab those blocks and sit them up beside your feet, we're going to step the left foot back. We're going to lunge the right knee. You're lifting through your back thigh bone. You're pushing back through your left heel. You're driving forward with your right thigh bone. Exhale now, drop the back knee. Bring some extra support in if you need it and untuck the back foot. So if your shoulders are creeping up towards the ears, relax them down the back. You're dropping and sinking through the pelvic floor. That iliopsoas that we're working with the back leg or the left hip, remember that muscle attaches to the low back. One of the places where we can store hate. You're going to let that melt away so that love can flow in. All right, on your next inhale, push down through the sole of the right foot. Track your arms alongside your ears. Exhale, spin to the right. Bring your right hand to your hip, your left hand to that front knee. Exhale, unwind, melt the hips back down. You can even let the elbows rest on the blocks if you have that availability. Then we're going to come up for the archer's pose. So again, press down through the right foot. This time the arms are lifting up overhead. On Janayasana, we're going to bring the arms in front of the chest, curl the fingers in, pull back on the left arm, place the thumb to the top of the head, and as you exhale, wind yourself around to the right. Gaze at your right thumb. Affirming, I am focused on sending my own love out into the world. Exhale, unwind. Release. Send the blocks to the sides, hands to the floor. Let your right knee slip back to tabletop position. Good. From here, you're going to curl the toes under, launch into downward facing dog. Pressing into your palms, spreading out through your fingers, stretching back through your arms, sailing up through your seats. And then if you want to walk the dog really quick, bend one knee, surrender the other heel down. Lift high up on the tippy toes. Exhale, descend to your knees. Bring the blocks back underneath your hands. When you're ready, left foot's going to step through. Curl the back toes under. Come to this runner's lunge. So I'm going to move my arm a minute so you can see. You want your shin perpendicular to the floor, the knee right over the ankle, and pointed towards the center of the foot. Your back thigh lifts, power back through that right heel, and drive forward with your left thigh. Look out with your eyes. Exhale, come down to the back knee, untuck the back toes. And again, if the shoulders are creeping up towards the ears, just bend the elbow, soften the shoulders down, or you can lean forward. If that's a possibility. Inhale, press through the left foot, come up. Exhale, spin to the left, right hand to the knee, left hand to the hip. Exhale, unwind. Drop back through the pelvic floor. Your head can bow, you can look down. Stay in command of your breath. Remember that conscious breath work can tap us in to that wellspring of love in the heart, not the physical heart, the metaphysical or spiritual aspect of the heart. All right, inhale, coming up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, arms in front of the chest, curl the fingers in, draw the bow back with your right arm, spin to your left. Take the twist farther than that previous one. Gaze at your thumb and affirm, I am focused on sending my own love out into the world. Exhale and wind. Bring the hands down, move the blocks away. Slide your left knee back, tabletop. Curl the toes, come back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, plank. Shoulders stacking over hands. Stay long, stay strong. Build a little heat while you're here. Exhale, rock forward, lower down to chaturanga. Sink to the belly. And as you sink to the belly, come down to your chin or brow. Bring the arms beside you, palms face down. Lift and lengthen each leg. Glue the feet to the floor. Inhale, lift head, shoulders, chest. Breathe through the diaphragm. That muscle you're resting on at the base of your ribs. All right, now bring your elbows in front of you. Stack to prayer hands, but separate your feet. Wiggle your hips. Shake up the low back. Let it be loose. Here. If you would like a more active back bend, you could do something like Sphinx. Let's roll down to the brow with the hands, slide up underneath the shoulders. Let's pull the feet together and inhale back up into a tabletop position. From our tabletop, we're going to slide the arms forward and melt the heart down and rest on chin or forehead. Anahatasana. Remember, anahata means unbroken, unstruck. Anytime we feel like we have a broken heart, it's just an illusion. It can be mended. It can be healed through the power of love. Inhale, slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Pick up your navel. Lift your shoulder blades. Hold your cat. Right, much more exaggerated than what we did at the beginning of practice. Now slide your hands in, standing Vajrasana. Inhale the arms up. Drive your hips forward like a bridge, but take camel. Exhale, scoop in the belly. Round down, child's. Let's flow. Inhale, up standing Vajrasana. Exhale, bend back. Ustrasana, camel. Inhale, come up. Exhale, roll down, child's. Or you can inhale, camel. Exhale, child's, right? So there's a couple different ways to do that. See what you work better with. Now rest in child's. This is going to be our final inversion, even though it's a subtle and more gentle inversion. Think about how much hate makes us contract and how love is inclusive and expansive. So let's slowly come up. And by the way, I'm not timing this class, so it may be shorter than an hour. But that's okay. It's a snow day. Let's have the blocks stacked, the bolster on top for Stonehenge. We're gonna lie down on our backs. Take the legs on top and move into our Shavasana. And as you're settling into that pose, feel free to use a blanket to cover up with to keep your heat trapped. I'm going to share with you that Martin Luther King quotes again. I think I have discovered the highest good, and that is love. I have decided to stick with love, for hate is too great of a burden to bear. It is an overflowing love which seeks nothing in return. Theologians would say that it is the love of God operating in the human heart. And when one rises to love on this level, he is able to love the person who does the evil deed while hating the deed that the person has done. It's a big and it's a bold statement. To love the person, but not the bad deed. Imagine if we all exemplified love like that. So in your Shavasana, as you're breathing up into your heart, let it expand. Let it overflow with love. And if you want a mantra to repeat, Aham Prima. Aham Prima. Aham Prima. I am pure love. Aham Prima. Aham Prima. I am pure love. So inhale, stretch your arms overhead. As you exhale, bring this love to yourself by drawing the knees towards the chest. Giving a little love to your back and kidneys. Rocking side to side. Turn it over to one. Building up for a comfortable seat. Hands to prayer. The love that I hold within my heart bows humbly to that immense amount of love that you hold within yours. Namaste.